Welcome to another edition of Winners Get Money, Season 2, Episode number 6. What's up, guys? Yeah, I know we missed the last couple weeks. We had Padres playoffs going on. We had Padre fever, and then we ended up getting some fevers on our own, actually. Ended up sick a little bit. Sorry about that, guys. We didn't have shows the last 2 weeks. We will keep you updated on that, and then we'll move forward. So basically, yeah, welcome to episode number 6. We won't count the last other couple weeks. We are going to talk about what stood out in week 7 of college football. We'll recap our best bets, how we did, and then we'll talk about NFL as well, recap best bets from a couple weeks ago. We'll do that really fast since it was a couple weeks ago, guys. We understand. And then we'll talk about what stood out in week 6 from last week for NFL. And then we will go into our best bets for both sides and kind of send you on your way. Talk maybe Survivor still. I'm still alive, luckily. And then that's just about it. Yeah. So let's jump into it. Let's talk about week 7. Oregon, Ohio State, man.
Yeah,
Wild finish. Wild finish in Oregon, in Eugene. Ducks get it done though, however. Your thoughts?
yeah. I mean, it probably, it was a really good football week just all around, but this one in particular just had, everything we're kind of looking for. Um, yeah, I mean, I kind of thought Oregon State was gonna kind of hold them on that last possession, but once again, just, I don't know, just something about Oregon State or not Oregon State, Ohio State. Something about Ohio State in these big games. Um, who's the coach? Is
Ryan Day.
blanking Ryan Day. There you go. Is he like 0-5 against top five of opponents? I want to say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's another case of it. Like people were kind of saying that Ryan Day just can't win the big games, and I mean this game was theirs for the taking. To be honest, a couple turnovers in the first half kind of killed them, but overall it was a really good game. Just, overall just good for college football.
I think it was a great game. Did you see Dan Lanning, the coach for Oregon, admitted that he got the too many men on the field penalty on purpose? And now, I don't know if you saw it today, but the NCAA is actually looking into try and get that call so other teams don't start doing that during the season. It's just what's
That
going on here, NCAA? Wild.
Yeah, that's just heads up football. To be honest, that's just good, great
Hmm.
coaching.
Hmm.
Because you wait, you take the penalty, they just make sure like no one's gonna get past their 12 guys. No one gets past 5 yard penalty. They even wasted clock too. I think 4 seconds left after that, or 7 seconds left. So overall, it's just a good just heads up coaching. To be honest,
My thought also though, I would say from this game is if this game was in Ohio State, I kind of got a feeling Ohio State might have won by more than a touchdown. I think being at home, Oregon really helped a lot. I don't know if Oregon would have been as tight in Ohio State. Just an initial thought. I thought Ohio State actually, I don't think this was a knock on them at all, actually. This game, I think they should stay right where they were. Obviously, Oregon's going to jump them. I get it. But for the most part, they shouldn't drop many spots. I don't think they even did. I think they stayed at 3 or 4, actually, because of how tight the game was. And then we had Tennessee, Florida. You saw more of that game than I did. Break it down.
yeah. So I mean, not looking at it as a total look ahead spot for Tennessee. 2 weeks in a row, Tennessee, big favorites, or yeah, big favorites against Arkansas, or
Mhm.
decent amount of favorites, lose
It was a
outright.
big loss. Yeah.
And then you have, this week against Florida, double digit favorites again. And Florida kind of gave them all they can handle. It was 3-0 at the half. Florida was actually up, which is kind of crazy. You would think like Tennessee goes in, takes care of business because this Florida team's it's not good. Um, but yeah, that game came down. Tennessee ended up scoring late third quarter. You would think they kind of would run away with it. Uh, Florida has the ball driving, score the touchdown with I think like 30 seconds left at that point, or under a minute for sure. Score the touchdown. I would have personally gone for two, go for the win when you're on the road, kick the extra point, they go to overtime, and then Tennessee just takes care of business. So yeah, a lot to be had with that game. Just because Florida, the kind of team they have this year, and then with Tennessee, expectations are high. You're coming off a loss to Arkansas, and you kind of expect them to kind of come back. with a better effort, but it's 2 straight weeks of a lot of question marks, I guess you can say.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I didn't see really any of it, so I'm not gonna get up here and say I saw it and give my thoughts on it. Just maybe, like you said, total look ahead spot against Bama. We're gonna talk about that for sure. We got a couple of plays definitely with that game. So let's jump recap real quick for the episode we had last time, a couple weeks ago. I went 2-0 in college. David went 2-1. I'm 7-5 on the year, and then we got David at 6-8. Uh, yeah, let's jump. So do you want to jump best bets week 8 for
Yeah,
college?
let's get into it.
Okay. Also, we'll detail real quick. So top three games this weekend. I don't think it's even close. These three are above all of them. We got Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, Texas, LSU, Arkansas. So I think it's all six teams are top 25. I want to say maybe Arkansas might be outside the top, but barely. I'm sure because they had that big win against Tennessee. So gonna really see who's for real because I'm really curious actually to see Georgia and Bama the most to see maybe was it fluky, was it not? That crazy game they had because their defenses have not looked good at all. So with that, do you want to start us or do you want me to go first for college?
You go
Best
first.
bets. Okay, I'll jump in. My first play is going to be Illinois plus 3.5 against Michigan. I've been kind of honestly, Michigan's been kind of a fade the past few weeks as well. Didn't cover against Minnesota, didn't cover against Washington. They switched quarterbacks again. They took out Orgy this time. Now they got Jack Tuttle, our very own from our kind of hometown as well, guys. Shout out San Diego. But yeah, they're sticking with him, correct? Tuttle, right?
Yeah.
And games at Illinois. I I honestly think the wrong team's favorite here. I like what is making me think Michigan's better. I think a lot of people are still having that championship last year with Harbaugh hangover where they just think this team will turn it around. Honestly, I was telling you offline, if Michigan doesn't get turnovers and they can't run the ball, this team can't win. I just against the good teams. So I think the only way Illinois probably doesn't cover this spread is if they turn the ball over in offense. But I like the way the quarterback's playing a lot. Yeah, they had their scare in overtime against Purdue, 50-49, but they had a big lead, and I think they're not going to do that again against Michigan in a game of this magnitude. So I'm gonna take Illinois. I'm gonna take the Fighting Illini plus 3.5.
Yeah. I have this as one of my best bets as well. Um, yeah, I mean, kind of for all the points that you said, I do think the wrong team might be favored here. Given a Lion team catching 3.5 at home, and then we've kind of seen from Michigan kind of the same story. They lose at Washington last week. I mean, yeah, it was a tough spot for them going to Washington, but like this offense just has so many question marks. People probably think it's like, oh, it's a lot of the same, Michigan offenses last year. But it's like they graduate a lot of guys, and all that, you lose a lot,
Mhm.
and a lot of people kind of just see the household name of Michigan and be like, oh yeah, Michigan. Of course, they're their favorite 3.5 points here. What has Illinois done for the past, who knows how many years? Illinois does look good. They run the ball well. That place is going to be rocking for sure. The Champaign, Illinois
Oh
is where
yeah.
they're at. So that place
Hmm.
is going to be rocking. Illinois has already gone to they went to Nebraska as a
And beat
as a
them.
dog and beat them. So I mean, this team's generally battle
Tillamook's a good
tested.
coach.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, they're battle tested. So I can see them, covering the three, at minimum, and hopefully they come out with the money line win. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm in agreement with you there.
Yeah, I like it too because they played Penn State, lost 21-7, but I think that game was also a lot tighter. I watched most of that game. Penn State got a late touchdown at the end. Illinois was in that game all the whole way.
It was 14-7
Mhm.
late fourth quarter in that game. I remember.
Yeah, so they covered that spread easily. I think they were getting like 18. I couldn't believe it. Michigan also, I mean Illinois, excuse me. They go to Oregon the week after. So I think this is their big win. I think they're looking at this like, okay, we gotta take care of business at home because we got Oregon next week on the road. So yeah, I like the spot here. Let's go. Okay, so we're both on Illinois plus 3.5. My next play, we mentioned Tennessee, Bama. I'm gonna go with the Vols here plus 3. I know it's kind of a scary pick to some people. I'm gonna take it. I think Tennessee. I think this may be a little bit of the change in the guard. No Saban now. I just I think the ball's at home. I think they turn it around. I'm not sold on Bama's defense. I think Tennessee wins this game outright. I think they give Bama their second loss. I haven't been impressed by Bama. I think their defense is overrated. Milrose struggled a little bit recently. That loss to Vanderbilt. Could have easily lost to South Carolina. That onside recovery they got, and then just horrible. If you guys saw that horrible execution by South Carolina when they got the ball off the onside kick. I don't know what that was. That was horrible. Like they didn't move the ball, and they had the ball at midfield. So definitely a chance. And that game was at Bama, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
So I don't think Bama's is intimidating the team as people are used to. Yeah, so I'm gonna take Tennessee here. I think they turn it around. I think they get it going. I think the quarterback, and I think they'll be able to look good, and they'll have a good game plan here. This is a big game, and I think, yeah, Tennessee circles. I think they get it done.
Yeah. I'm personally probably not gonna have a play on either side. I do kind of lean to the over here. I think just based off the last 2 weeks for each team, they kind of underperformed. The defense. I think people can both defenses are kind of like vulnerable to points
Mhm.
here. I mean, Tennessee is home. That's why I would probably give them a slight advantage, just because I think Alabama's probably the most vulnerable they've ever been. Like post Saban,
Yeah.
Milrow. He's had some good games here and there. I kind of go back to Bama playing that South Florida game a couple weeks back, like week 2. They didn't really look as like the Bama they're supposed to look. And then last week South Carolina should have won. You know,
Yeah.
um, so I don't know. I just maybe it could be a little bit of a look ahead spot for sure for Bama, but that's why you know I don't really want to have a side in this game because I don't know what team's going to show up for Bama. Don't know what team's going to show up for Tennessee because Tennessee they can score. With the best of them, and their schedule's probably a little weak. Starting off,
It was. Yeah.
um, but yeah, we'll kind of see what they have here. I think after that loss to Arkansas, they kind of want to get back on things for sure. Especially after that game. We kind of went over it already with Florida last week. So, last 2 weeks was tough for Tennessee, but I can see them kind of, get everything together here.
Okay. Yeah, your play.
Yeah. Well, yeah, speaking of that South Carolina Bama game, I'm gonna go South Carolina money line. I think it's like a pick 'em.
Mhm.
They're playing at Oklahoma, and this kind of just comes to just kind of playing the hot hand. I mean, even though South Carolina did lose last week, they covered pretty easy. Um, they've played a lot of great games so far. They
Mhm.
came up a little short against LSU, came up short last week against Alabama, but the South Carolina defense is really good. They can
It
for sure
is.
keep them in this game, and um, if they can kind of like tweak the offense a little bit. I can't remember the quarterback's name off the top of my head right now, but
Sellers.
Sellers, there we go.
Mhm.
But if he develops a little bit more, he could be one of those like just mobile quarterbacks. Run around, give defenses trouble. Um, so we'll see what kind of wrinkles maybe they throw in the offense this week. But on the Oklahoma side too, scored 3 points against Texas. Texas is good.
Yeah.
There's no shame in them losing the Red River rivalry like that. But I haven't seen much out of Oklahoma. Their whole receiving corps is banged up, so I don't
Mhm.
know who they're going to get the ball to. And then usually, I want to say after the Texas OU games, they always get a bye week. This week, no bye.
Yeah.
They go. You come off a big rivalry game, loss, quick turnaround. You got to play home against South Carolina, and South Carolina is just looking to carry that momentum. So I think South Carolina wins this one in a close defensive battle for sure.
Yeah, I like the play. I can't Oklahoma after last week. I couldn't back him here. There's no way. Especially they switched. They did the whole quarterback change. He hasn't looked good. I think his name's like Williams or something. I can't even remember. But he hasn't looked good. They didn't move the ball much against Texas. But like you said, Texas is legit. They're number one in the nation. They got a chance to win the whole thing. So I don't know. Oklahoma, yeah. I mean, they're going against another tough defense. It's not. That's rough. I mean, you get Texas and South Carolina back to back good defenses. So I I like Sellers. I just wish sometimes. I just sometimes he makes some bonehead plays, but I guess it's because I had them against Ole Miss a couple weeks ago. I didn't like it. They got smoked, but they woken up. It looked like they responded well, so that's good there. And I think South Carolina. I mean, they've responded off losses, so that's another good point. They lost when they got smoked by Ole Miss. They almost beat Bama on the road, so I think this team's playing hot. I mean, they got a tough schedule and they're hanging with these teams, like you said. They smoked Kentucky, who almost beat Georgia. It's yeah, South Carolina, there's no reason South Carolina won't be in this game and have a chance to win it at the end. So, yeah, I like the play.
Did Kentucky also beat they beat Ole Miss, right?
They
Not
did
Ole Miss.
at Ole
They beat
Miss.
Ole Miss, right? Yeah, yeah,
At Ole
yeah.
Miss. Yeah, it was impressive. Very impressive. Okay, let's go. My last play. I am going to go Louisville football. We're going to go +5 against Miami here. We're fading Miami. I know they're number 6. Yeah, but I think these teams are a lot closer than people realize. Louisville has a good offense. I don't know if they'll win. I could see a field goal game here. I don't know. Miami hasn't looked as sharp as people want to allude to. I don't think. I mean, the Vautech game was very scary. Almost lost to Cal. What was the? You said. I remember when they played. They had what? Cal had what? Like a 10-point lead or something like that,
Well,
right?
there it was 35-10 late third
Cal.
quarter. Cal late in
Yeah.
third quarter of that game, and it was probably one of the craziest comebacks I think I've ever seen in the last couple of
Yeah.
years for sure.
So they've been scraping by Miami. If you really think about it, these past 2 weeks, the Vautech, the Hail Mary controversy, and then you got Cal with the insane comeback. So why would I lay 5 here against Louisville at Louisville? I just don't. Louisville's got this game scheduled. Miami's coming in just escaping games. Yeah, I like Louisville here. I think they can hang with these guys and keep it within the number.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think Miami is probably one of the most like I guess fraudulent number 6 teams that we've kind of seen in a while.
Mhm.
Like they could easily be what 4-2.
Probably.
Um,
Yeah.
probably should be 4-2 to be honest,
Mhm.
because that Cal game just Cal just literally just I can't even
Gave it
explain
away.
what.
Yeah.
Yeah, they gave it away. Then the whole Hail Mary controversy. I thought it was a catch.
I did too.
Who knows? I mean, so I mean, I think like Miami, even if they like or Louisville, I guess in this case, even if they don't win, I see them covering the 5 just because I feel like Miami's just content winning games. Like all they care
Yeah.
about is, hey, let's win, let's get out of here.
Yep.
Louisville, like you said, like they can score with the best of them, and this kind of seems like people are just waiting for Miami to lose outright.
Yeah.
Like we've been saying it for a couple of weeks now. If there's any chance for them to like have a little hiccup, I think Louisville was a Friday night too. No, it's Saturday morning. Saturday morning game. I think it's probably the perfect time for them, to have the hiccup finally. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I'll lean Louisville +5 here as well.
Yeah, Louisville also they hung with Notre Dame and SMU. SMU is legit now, and Notre Dame they were in that game all the way. I want to say so. Yeah, I don't see Louisville backing down here. You have one more play, right? Yeah, your last play.
Yeah, let's play. Colorado +3. They're at Arizona. Um, this line did open up 4.5, and it was because of Travis Hunter. People didn't know if he was going to play. He's probably worth a point and a half just because he plays both sides of the ball. But
Mhm.
all signs kind of indicate him playing. And Colorado, like, I know they're a pretty public team, but just kind of if you kind of compare them to Arizona, I think they're a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
A little bit, probably a little bit overrated. Just based off what they did last year coming into the season, but they just haven't met up to those expectations. They got blown out by BYU last week. BYU's a good team, but it's just I think people kind of expected more out of Arizona, and they're not a good team. I mean, I'm
Nah.
not saying Colorado's any better than them, but I think Colorado has, probably the better athletes to, cover this game 3 or even win out right here. And, I mean, Sanders is gonna at QB's probably, you know, he's,
He's legit.
he's
Yeah.
he's legit. Yeah, he's legit. He makes throws. Like he's kind of
Hmm.
proven, like like in these like tight games that he's built, to come back and win. We saw it last year. They
Hmm.
played UCF, a couple weeks back before they had the bye, and a lot of people had UCF, thinking
I
they were
couldn't
going to blow
believe
them
it.
out.
Yeah.
Colorado came in there like, yeah, there is a little back and forth in the beginning, but then just they just shut it down. So
Mm.
yeah, so I like Colorado here +3 again. I'll probably sprinkle the money line as well.
Yeah, I like the play. I couldn't take Arizona here. I think we fell for, we'll say, because we backed Arizona in the beginning of the season against Kansas State. I remember. I think we kind of fell for it. The young quarterback, I forgot his name, but yeah, Arizona had that win against Utah at Utah, but Utah looks vulnerable too.
Utah looks
I
terrible.
don't. Yeah. So, and Arizona's defense isn't anything special, and you got Colorado good offense. Shador's he's a good quarterback. Say what you want about him, he is a good quarterback. I just, yeah, I mean, I think Shador should have a great game here. I don't think Colorado's gonna be intimidated by these guys at all. They shouldn't be. And yeah, I think Dion will have them ready. And Colorado actually has surprised me this year. I will admit that. I thought they were going to be an absolute just dumpster fire, like we said about Arizona, but I think they've proven a lot of people wrong. I thought they're going to be horrible. I think maybe they get 2, 3 wins this year, and they're on their own way. So, yeah, I like the play. I don't. I think Shador. I think they win outright. It was especially with Hunter. If Hunter wasn't playing, I'd be a little scared. But yeah, I like the spot with him playing here. Alrighty. Do you want to jump to NFL?
Yeah.
Let's, yeah.
I don't know if you want to just get into, I mean, I guess overall like trends that we've kind of seen in the NFL before we get into best bets, or just kind of any
Yeah,
overall
we
just like
can.
thoughts, right?
Yeah, real quick, we'll just
So let's
recap how we're
recap.
doing overall. So a couple weeks ago, I'll just do it real quick since it was a couple weeks ago. You had Colts -1, and then you had the Titans, went 1-1. So you're 4-5-1 overall. I went 2-1 a couple weeks ago. Now I'm 5-6-1 in overall. Yeah, we won't because it was a couple weeks ago, guys. We're not going to make you try to remember. But anyway, like you mentioned, trends. Uh, all favorites winning except the Titans. Every other favorite this week won. It's ridiculous. I think you mentioned your football pool. I got a football pool too. I think in my football pool, I had 3 people who know nothing about football. They all had perfect. They had to determine the tiebreaker off the points for the Monday night game, the total.
Wow.
And yeah, it's just, dude, it's insane. I don't think the books got killed. Uh, dude, it was insane. Your thoughts? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the first like 5 weeks, there was always a big dog,
Mhm.
winning outright each week. The dogs were just eating up, so like, the books were happy the first 5 weeks, but last week, like, all the favorites covered, or almost all the favorites covered. All the
I
favorites
think only
won.
two. It was the Eagles and the Titans.
Yeah,
That was
the
it.
Titans, yeah.
Eagles and Titans were the only two that didn't cover.
Yeah. And that Titans was like, it was like a close spread too. I think it was like
Mm,
-1, almost a pick 'em,
mm,
but
mm.
I mean, aside from there, it's just all favorites. Like
Yeah.
a couple of guys I've seen, they had these money line parlays are just full of favorites,
Yep.
and
This was
they cashed they cashed out this week.
that was
So
the week to do it.
yeah, the other thing I've kind of noticed too is like in NFL, obviously NFL is a crapshoot. We don't know like one
Mm.
week you'll have all the dogs, another week all the favorites. One week it's the big dog winning outright. Like it's just madness.
It
Literally,
is,
like
man.
that witching hour between the 10 a.m. games right before the 1 p.m. games is just ridiculous every year. So
Yeah.
every year, every week. But yeah. With that said, get into some best bets for NFL.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, start us off.
Yeah, I mean this week a lot of lines are super tight, super sharp lines.
Super.
A lot of good games though. I mean, doesn't kind of take away from the product on the field this week, but we didn't really like much, but I do like Green Bay -2.5 at home against the Texans. Jordan Love's back, healthy. They looked really good against Arizona. They pretty
Yeah.
much like dog walked them the whole game. And Houston on their side too. They're winning games. They're getting healthier too. I think Mixon was back last week, looking good. I just think it's a bad spot for the Texans having to
Yeah.
travel, to Green Bay here, and just Green Bay's. I want to say there's like the hotter team here, playing a lot better. Obviously with Jordan Love back and all that, but I see a short field goal here, and I like it. If it was 3.5, maybe I'd lean to the
Mhm.
Texans, but 2.5 here with Green Bay, I think they can, cover this game. Would I expect to be a pretty good game, pretty entertaining.
Yeah, no, I like the play. We're both on this game. I'm on Green Bay -2.5 as well. Jordan Love's hot. Don't get me wrong. Stroud's playing good ball too. He looked good against New England. It is New England. I think also popped to my head is I think Houston, if this game starts getting away from them, I'm not saying it will. If this game starts getting away, I think Houston will be content to be okay with losing because I think they like the division they're in. I just think Houston might run away with it pretty soon. I know the Colts are kind of there, but I don't think they're really worried. I don't think they should be, honestly, for the AFC South. So I feel like if Houston gets down a little bit and they're like, I think they'll be content. Like, okay, we had two road games in a row. We took one of two. Like, let's get back home. We'll be okay. You know, we dropped this game to a tough Green Bay team. I just think, yeah, like you said, Green Bay's hot right now. They look great against Arizona. I think Love continues it. I do. I don't think they're going to put up that many points because Houston's more of a better team. But yeah, Love looks great. They got everyone's healthy on offense for the most part. The receiving core, the Romeo Dobbs getting the suspension against the Rams a couple weeks ago, 1 game suspension because he's not getting the ball enough. He woke up this week. I think he looks happy now. Defense looks good. Yeah, I think Green Bay wins this and covers by a field goal. Maybe it does come down to a last second field goal, but I think Green Bay pulls it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, kind of the piggyback too, what you're saying about the AFC South. The next team closest to them is the Colts, three and
Yeah.
three.
Mhm.
I mean, Texans 5-1, Colts 3-3, Titans 1-4, Jags 1-5. Yeah, I mean, Titans if they go down here, I mean it's they're playing an NFC team, tiebreaker, purpose, whatever it might be. It's not really going to hurt them,
Mhm.
in a game like this. So I can totally see, kind of like you said, not that this game will get away from them, but if it did, probably not going to be the worst thing to
Yeah.
happen to them. So yeah, just something to kind of look out for in this game. So
Yeah. Your next play.
yeah, next play. No more sides that I really like this week, but I mean, me and you were kind of going over the slate, and um, we looked at the London game, so
Yeah.
we're gonna have
We're both bad on that. Yeah.
it was ugly. I mean, you did kind of talk me out of liking the Patriots with the plus 5.5, but we're gonna go over 42.5 here. Jacksonville. I want to say they stayed in London. I don't think they flew back home to
Yeah.
go back out
They
there with the
did.
hurricane and everything else kind of going on with them. But you're in London 2 straight weeks. You would think you kind of, and they go to London every year. So, a little familiarity on their part. I do look for a better effort. Against the Bears, they just did not look the part. Trevor Lawrence just has not looked good this year. Jacksonville as a whole. I mean, Jacksonville has a lot of, a lot of good players on that team. They just haven't put it together yet. But, I see them, kind of putting it together here. Putting up points, on New England side. Drake May, second start. I can see them, moving the ball against this Jacksonville defense.
Hmm.
So 42.5 just seems a little low to me. And, you're overseas, you kind of want to, show a good NFL product. So I can see this game, being in somewhere in the 20s to get us over that 42.5.
Yeah, I think so too. I like the play here. I think the Jags offense, yeah, they had a little bit of a they moved the ball though in the Bears a little bit. I think they could have put up more than 16. They lost 35-16, but they gave up 35. I think Lawrence threw a few picks. So I expect turnovers, especially May, second start in London. That's a tough spot. I don't care who you're playing. I think he'll turn the ball over a little bit and maybe a couple of touchdowns at the end. New England just gave up 41 to the Texans. So I think here 42 and a half. I think both sides can get to that number 28-21, maybe final 28 for just I think it could be maybe Jacksonville blows them out. I don't know if they do. Maybe New England keeps it close. Yeah, tough spot for Drake May, but I think a couple turnovers will be in this game. Some teams will have short fields. I think it'll be points will be able to be put up here. I like the play. And then you have one more play?
I just have a lean.
Okay. What is it?
Nothing crazy, but yeah, leaned Detroit, Minnesota. I mean, I think it might be, one of the games of the week for sure. But you kind of, we're talking about this offline, 50.5. I think this game could be a shootout.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you'll probably go into a little bit more, but, the Lions, good offense, they can score. The Vikings, like, they've showed that they can put up points too. I mean, yeah, there's, good defense on, the Viking side, but just, I don't know, game between, undefeated team and, I think, a one loss Lions team, I can just see this game just kind of being a shootout. So,
Yeah.
just something to kind of look out for.
I like that play. I like the lean here. I think yeah, Detroit's offense looks amazing right now. They're the two past games they put up like over 40 by themselves. Dallas they just absolutely smoked 47-9, I think, and then they smoked Seattle on Monday night. I just they have so many weapons on this offense. Detroit, they just and like the play calling's great. Everyone's healthy still right now. I think it's a good spot in a dome. You're not gonna have to worry about weather. We know Goff plays well in domes. His record's just insane in domes. And then Vikings off a bye. I think their offense will look good. I don't see. It's gonna be interesting with Aiden Hutchinson out now. Will Detroit be able to put pressure on Darnold? And if they're not, Darnold's been looking great this year, and he can pick them apart too. Detroit's very vulnerable to give up points. I think so. Yeah, 50 and a half, I think can easily be reached here. I don't see how. Yeah, maybe it falls short, but yeah, Detroit's offense and the way Vikings offense has looked. I know Minnesota's got a good defense, but I think Detroit's offense is just better. I don't know. I think they have better players, so be interesting. But yeah, I would lean over 50 and a half here as well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess kind of a word, or I guess kind of just talking about it too. Kind of makes me like the Lions here a little bit too.
Yeah.
Better offense. Yeah, Vikings have good defense, but I mean, can they stop the Lions? I mean, that'll be kind of what we see.
Yeah.
Um, we should kind of wait and see. And Darnold's look good too. So I mean, there's a reason why the Lions can be a pick 'em. So yeah, we'll kind of see what happens, but I'm excited for that game for sure.
Yeah, there's a couple other goodies this week, guys. We
Chiefs
got
Niners is the other
Yep.
one.
Yep. And then we talked about Texans Packers. There's another good one. I just can't think of it. Um, Gosh darn it. I'd say Ravens Bucks will be a good one, I think, personally, on Monday Night Football. The Seahawks
Steelers
Falcons. Yeah,
Steelers
good.
Jets.
Yeah,
Steelers
that'll
Jets is
be
another one. Devontae.
Devontae Adams there now in New York. I think who else? Yeah, I mean, actually, that is pretty much it. So there's probably about 4 or 5 games that are should be tight, should be good. Chargers, Cardinals, I guess, but I mean, I don't know. It might be
That's
ugly
only
too.
there's two Monday night games this week, right? Yeah,
Yeah, it's
the
a Monday night
Chargers Arizona.
doubleheader,
I kind of
and
like it. Do you like the whole the doubleheader on Monday night?
yeah, I don't know. It's different. I do. It just seems like I've noticed so far this season with the Monday night doubleheader. There's been one game that's really good, and there's one game that's just been awful.
Yeah,
So which one is it going to be this week? I'm going to guess the Ravens Bucks game will probably be really good, and the Chargers Cardinals game will probably suck.
be one sided
But
or something. Yeah,
yeah, it's funny too that Chargers game's on ESPN Plus only. So
is it
it's
really?
yeah, only ESPN Plus. It's weird. Just I don't know. Money, obviously, money talks. Yeah, I still have my Survivor, so I think I'm debating if I'm going to go with the Bills against the Titans, or I was actually going to go with the Jags money line, the Jags against the Patriots. I like the spot with in London, second start ever for Drake May. I think it's a tough spot, so I'll put that out, but on our Twitter. Yeah, I'm still alive, dude. Only 200 and a little over 200 people in this bet online contest. It's crazy out of like 17,000.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy. Like the first couple of weeks, like all the big favorites were losing. Everyone's
mm,
survivors were just getting destroyed.
it's
Yeah, even
crazy.
in the circuit contest, I think they were like at 220 left. So no big upsets last week, which kind of I think there's only like 4 or 5 entries that probably lost. Um, but other than that, like yeah, I mean I think right now it's probably a good time to use Jacksonville just because you gotta burn one of these like bad
Mhm,
teams.
mhm.
And save obviously you probably save the Bills still, other teams that you can save. So maybe Jacksonville is the play for
I-
Survivor. I'm curious to kind of see what the percentages that come out,
dude,
but
dude, the numbers already. I saw the Bills are getting the most love, obviously, probably because it's the highest spread. They're like, I think it's 34% of the field is on the Bills. If they lost, that would knock out
30
so
for
many over
like 60
30.
people. Yeah.
Yeah. That would knock out a ton of people. So yeah, there's going to be some people knocked out this week. Definitely. I think there'll be a lot more. Also, look out. Telling you right now, that same trend is going to happen again, guys, with the favorites. There's going to be some dogs that win that no one expects. I got a feeling this week too. So
Yeah, I think we kind of
anyhow,
talked about a
mm,
little bit, and we're kind of saying like watch Carolina keep that game close against the
mm,
Commanders. Who knows? Maybe it's
yeah,
one of those Carolina games where Washington just came off a tough game against the Ravens. Not sure who they have lined up next, but maybe a little look ahead spot. Maybe just that sandwich spot where there's like, yeah, let's go through the motions, and Carolina kind of catches them. So,
I would.
um,
Yeah, but
no, no, go.
I was gonna say, watch out for the Giants. I think they got a chance to do it against the Eagles. I don't. I do. Eagles are better though with Devontae and AJ Brown. Their offense
Yeah,
just looks so much better with those two guys.
yeah, when healthy, like they kind of showed it last week. I think AJ had like a touchdown. Like he had a
Yeah.
really good game from what I
Mm.
remember, but yeah, maybe give Philly a couple more weeks to kind of get things together because yeah, they were looking pretty bad for a while. But the Giants are a really good 2-4 team to be honest. They probably should
Yeah.
have won Monday or was it Monday night or two Monday nights ago?
Sunday night.
Sunday night. There we
Yeah.
go. Probably should have won that game against the Bengals. So
Mm.
so yeah, I mean +3. I mean we kind of wanted to have it as a play, but I just didn't have the gut
Yeah.
to play the Giants here. And then just with Philly getting more healthy, I just don't want to run into it yet. So
No, I get it. Totally get it. Yeah, that's about it, guys, for this show, episode 6. Again, check us out on our YouTube, Winners Get Money, Twitter, and TikTok at Winners Get Money. We'll have all our content there again. Sorry about the 2-week little hiatus. We had Padres fever, literally. Bummer about that. I guess we got a minute left. Who's your World Series pick?
I think Yankees.
Yanks.
They,
Oh, God.
they have a clear path. And they have
Yeah.
the Guardians, and it's like yeah. So I mean, they had a clear path to the World Series. They've really been battle tested. I think they'll take a walk into the World Series, and then I mean, I guess everyone wants Yankees, Dodgers. I want
Oh,
Mets,
I want
Yankees.
Mets, Yankees. I want New York's
I
World Series.
I want a Subway Series, but yeah. I mean, I think the Dodgers won today, so they're up 2-1. But there's a lot of
Yeah.
series left in that game, so or a lot of game left in that series. So
Yeah. I'm gonna pick the Mets. I think the Mets come back against the Dodgers, and I think they win the World Series. We'll see. I think it'd be crazy. I would love to see a Subway Series, like you said. I think it'd be cool to watch. I
yeah,
can't
last
stand the
time
Dodgers,
was
so yeah.
2001 was the
That's
last
nuts.
Subway Series. So
That's
um,
nuts. Yeah. Yeah, that's about it, guys. Stay tuned, and we'll put our stuff out on social media. Check us out at Winners Get Money again. All right, guys. Take it easy.